Well, we're just a couple of weeks away from the 4-year mark of the protest on Capitol Hill from January 6, 2021. You had a lot of people, thousands were arrested and hundreds remain in jail on various charges from assault, resisting arrest, entering a restricted building, and impeding officers or employees at the time. Now, my next guest is doing all he can to assist these defendants. Joining me now is the founder of StopHate.com, which is helping raise money for those convicted for their actions that day, David Sumrall. David, it's good to have you. So Donald Trump is saying that he's going to pardon or commute the sentences for most of the almost 1,300 people charged with these J6-related crimes. 4 people were charged with seditious conspiracy. No one is in connection with that day has been charged with insurrection. So just remember that, folks. When you hear the media or anybody else say insurrection, that's a complete lie because nobody has been charged with that. But let me ask you this. Are there still defendants in a D.C. jail awaiting charges?
Yes and no. These guys have charges, but they may not have had their day in court yet. So there is some confusion in that you have to be charged to be arrested.
But they're sitting in jail still?
Yeah, absolutely. Jake Lang is a great example. He has not had his day in court. It's been 4 years that he's actually almost 4 years that he's been there. And of course, there's problems on both sides. Sometimes it's an issue he has with getting to court. Sometimes it's the court, but the can has been kicked down the road. There's no speedy trial or due process in that respect.
Is he a flight risk? Is there no consideration for bail? Nothing?
No, there's really not. And that's the thing. These judges try to say that these folks are a danger to society. And actually, it's the judges that are, because they keep putting innocent people in jail. That's a real threat to these people. And we feel the terrorism from the DOJ and the government. And, when a court will not self-correct, when it's corrupt, the only alternative is that pardon. And we've pushed very hard for a pardon of innocence. Tamara Lee helped develop the original pardon of innocence on a federal level for General Flynn with Pat Scopoliti and myself. And we've pushed that for the J6ers as well. General Flynn tweeted this morning that, January 6ers deserve a pardon of innocence. And no one that went through the system in D.C. received a fair trial. Think about that. They couldn't get a change of venue, a jury of their peers. They couldn't use all the evidence, the discovery. So literally, you have to go and pardon them all, and then do an investigation to go back and catch the real bad guys in the situation.
Yeah, this is why we have a constitution and laws and rules, so emotions don't determine how we act. So
That's right.
You were on the scene recording the events of January 6th. You've had to testify in federal court. Describe what happened that day in your view, in your eyes, what you witnessed, and how it matches up with the government's reaction to it.
Well, of course, we know the propaganda from your last story. The government is good at that. You have to ask, are they that incompetent, or are they complacent or complicit, or is it a cover-up? And January 6th it was a huge misunderstanding. Trump wanted to meet everyone at the Capitol. We went down to the Capitol. The police literally attacked the crowd. We've showed this over and over on video. The public is finally understanding what happened in the first few minutes of January 6th. And from there on, if you don't know who started the fight, you can't jump in the middle and say, well, it's his fault or her fault. A lot of this was defense, self-defense, or defense of others. We know that 4 American citizens died that day at the hand of the police or because of their actions. No police were killed that day. The media lies have been horrible for these J6ers to try to get the truth of their stories. We've put books out, documentaries to try to get out to the public, and the censorship by the government, by the media, to keep this controlled and steer the narrative. I'm just so happy that the truth is finally coming out.
So Donald Trump considering pardons. I mean, he's already said he's gonna issue those pardons. But let me ask you this: should everyone charged in a J6 crime be pardoned or have their sentence commuted, or are there some cases that he should let stand, that they should continue their penalty, whatever it is?
I think bad guys need to do crime, do time for their crimes. I agree with that 100%. The problem is, if you leave one innocent J6er behind that hurts themselves, it's political suicide. We really have to pardon everyone, and you have to make that short list of who got a fair trial in D.C. It's really nobody. They didn't get a fair trial. due process. That's a constitutional violation. They wouldn't let these people use the First Amendment in their defense in court, that they were picketing or parading or, the things they can do legally. So it's, travesty for these folks to try to get their message, their story out to the public. And Trump is really supporting these folks in a way that we've been anticipating and hopeful for. And we believe every single J6er at this point, it's been long enough for whatever crime they may have committed. If it was breaking a piece of glass, seriously, 4 years is enough.
Yep, that's true. And what makes so many people so angry is you see what Antifa did and these riots and demonstrations that became violent and George Floyd reaction and all those kind of things where hardly anybody was charged. They got away with everything. And then what happened at the Capitol was not fun to watch. It was a bad mark on our history. But the penalty has to match the crime, and in many ways it did not. So David Sumrall, appreciate you coming on, and good luck with everything.
Thank you for having me. Merry Christmas to y'all.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you. So tragedy strikes at a German Christmas market, leaving